Hi. Now for this video, this is gonna be more of me figuring out the outfit that I want to wear for the Barbie movie. And not gonna lie, the one I came up with ended up being kinda, to some people might be because as much as I want to accessorize and be very extra with my outfits, I'm not financially able to do
licensing reimagined.
You're fucking poor!
But I do work with what I got. And if it's one thing I love about dressing up, is I love dressing up with a theme. Now, did I grow up watching Monster High? Yes, I had all the Monster High dolls. Monster High was everything. I tell everyone my fashion sense is mainly based off Monster High and Bratz.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
We don't care.
But Barbie was the OG. I watched all of her movies. Well, not all of them, but I watched most of her movies mainly with my sister because my sister loved the 12 Dancing Princesses. So, the one I do remember was Barbie at the Diamond Castle, or Mariposa, because I had the doll, but I loved Barbie. I first started off with the mood board. The mood board, I wanted to figure out what type of style that I wanted to do for Barbie and what I had to work with. So, because I had a week or a couple days because today is Wednesday and we're watching it on Saturday, maybe. But anyways, continuing. My favorite type of Barbie is vintage Barbie because I loved how it looked, like all the elegance and mainly black. I mean, they used less pink because I don't like wearing pink that much. Not because I'm like ew pink, but it's just I don't really like pink that much. And this is Barbie pink. Barbie pink is the only pink I will ever wear. Maybe kind of like a dusty pink, but get the point. The vintage Barbie is what I like because mainly she did have more of the elegance, and I love vintage clothing, so that was a major plus. But the downside is I didn't have much to work with for her outfits, so I figured since most of my clothing is mainly 90s, because that's what I have, because my mother's clothing that she had I got, and some of my dad's, and they were in high school when it was the 90s. They were in high school, so I have some of their clothing, and so I am working with what I have for that. And I have my sketches of the ideas that I thought about before I kind of made the final decision, because my mom is going to be making the shirts, because my mom and my sister want to have some, I guess, somewhat matching shirts, which ended up working because we couldn't find a good color. My sister didn't like the color, I liked the color, but my mom didn't like the color. So my sister has black, I have the bright Barbie pink, and then my mom has a light pink, which is somewhat similar, I guess, different variations. So it's a win-win kind of. The dilemma is that it was a t-shirt, and I didn't know if I wanted to commit of it being a full on like different type of shirt in general, or if I wanted to keep it as a baggy t-shirt so I could wear it whenever, like a lazy day or something. I did end up keeping it as a baggy shirt, but I did it where you like tuck it in from underneath, like you tuck it into your bra and it just looks like a crop top, or it looks like it's tucked into your shirt, to your pants. So there was that. Now for the accessories and makeup, that was another issue. I wanted to keep my hair wavy because it's easier and I just like it when my hair is wavy. But Barbie is a white girl, so I am gonna have to straighten my hair. some, I was kind of torn between two earrings that I had, the clouds earrings and some gold heart earrings, because I had other ones, but either one of them was a little too like aggressive, another one was too like 8-bit gaming too like type of thing, and then I just thought the gummy earrings were just eh. So I asked my sister and she's told me I should go with the gold earrings, although I'm kind of leaning towards the cloud, so let's see how I feel about that thing. And so yes, and then I'm gonna go for more of the blue eyeshadow look for Barbie, because that's the iconic makeup, and then maybe the red lips too. I mean, all I have is red lipstick, so I mean, might as well. Also, I just think it's fitting because even my mom said, which I also experienced, is that growing up you see the Barbie dolls and they have the blue eyeshadow, so I thought that would look really pretty, the blue eyeshadow, and then when I'm older I'm gonna be wearing that. I'm older, don't like it, but everyone has preferences, and that's Barbie's look, so we're gonna go for it. So we'll see how I figure out that day. Bye. So this is me getting ready for the movie. The movie was at 11 and I have woken up at 7 to get ready. It's me finishing my makeup. I had trouble doing my makeup as always because my eyes kept getting watery, so yeah. That's my hair, how I ended up finishing it. And now it's me and my brother filming my brother because he wanted to go last minute to the movie, and me eating an apple because that was my breakfast. Now I kind of forgot to take videos of me like in the full outfit, but there's these pictures, so enjoy that. Hey, it's Monday, so like 2 days after I actually watched the movie, and
Artlist.io.
we're gonna talk about it. Is it gonna be planned out very well? Probably not, because I don't plan things out very much. But I do have speaking points in front of me that I will get through, so because when I ramble, I go.
Music licensing reimagined.
I have some type of structure. I guess when we first talk about the vibe of walking and being there, usually the plan was for me, my sister, and my mom to watch it because no one else seemed interested until my brother was like, no, I actually wanted to watch the movie, so we're like, my dad didn't want to watch it, so my mom was like, I mean, we could take him. I guess my dad had some FOMO and he wanted to come, so he came with my brother. And my brother saw that we were trying to dress up as Barbie, so he did his best as he could to dress up as Ken. So he wore like a t-shirt and a hoodie that was unzipped. He tried his best. But
Artlist.io.
As we were walking in, a lot of people looked at us kind of funny, which my sister felt very awkward at first, and then I saw a little girl with her mom, and the little girl behind
Music licensing reimagined.
Saying, look, mommy, see, they dressed up too, like whispering to her mom, and I was like, so that felt achieving to me. I did something. I put something out into the world. When we finally sat down to take our seats, it was nice because we were sitting down, and where we were sitting down, we were like where people would walk in, and you would see people walking like a bunch of women all together dressed up in pink, and all. I mean, I think we were the only ones that actually had. No, never mind. There were some other people that had Barbie shirts, but a lot of them were just wearing pink, and then you just see like either their boyfriends or their husbands coming in behind them, like either like enjoying it, or some of them were like, you could tell that they were forced into it. they were wearing like pastel button-up shirts. It was funny, and I was telling them, like, if my boyfriend does not do that for me, I don't want them. So it was a nice vibe to see everyone coming together and wearing pink and pastels, even though that's not usually what I wear most of the time. The start of the movie, I guess, is kind of showing how little girls or people play with their dolls when they're younger. As in, like, you're playing with your toys and you see how them hold the cup, but they're not technically drinking anything. So it's funny to see her pour milk into the cup, and then for nothing to come out, and then her drinking something and nothing to come out. And I found it funny because, like, they kind of bring it up later in the movie how she drinks some tea or some water and then it just comes out. She's like, I'm not used to that coming out. Also, like, the childish dialogue of them talking to each other is really funny. Because, I mean, it's just childish, little, funny, like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with my friends. You do whatever you want.
Artlist.io.
Although, I feel sorry for my Barbies, because I had a very dramatic, play style with my dolls. Also, my sister and my mom were making fun of me during the weird Barbie part because I had a lot of weird Barbies. Not necessarily, because I always liked the idea of playing with the doll's hair and clothing. So I would switch out the clothing that I thought would look cute together. I would see like a shirt from there and then a pants, and I was like, ooh, that would look like a nice pairing. And then I'll try doing the hair. They wouldn't look nice, but it was like an 8-year-old's attempt at clothing and fashion. So I remember when I got my first Monster High doll, it was a Claudine Gloom, like a, what was it called? The Gloom Beach doll? I think the first one.
Music licensing reimagined.
That was my first doll that I got. And I feel so bad because I have a slight chewing problem. I mean, it's better now, obviously, but when I was younger, I would watch a video on YouTube, but then I would be chewing on something, or watch a movie and I'll be chewing on something, and I chewed on that doll's leg so bad that if you would look at it, they had like the chew marks, of course, and I feel bad, but it was the first doll I had. Now, when Barbie went into the real world, because she had to, I guess the whole premise of it is that there's Barbie land and real world, and that the real world girl that's playing with Barbie is like their connection. So when one Barbie doll would start getting messed up, it's because the girl in their world was like kind of, I guess, dealing with issues. So it's like, if you play with your dolls and make them have like an idea that's really like kind of like a negative or non-childish idea, a mature idea, it would not be, it will go into the Barbie land and they would have to deal with it. So Barbie was having, I guess, negative thoughts. Nothing like unaliving, but like just contemplating conscious thoughts. So she had to go to the real world and figure out what's wrong with the girl that's playing with her, I guess.
Music licensing reimagined.
First thing she experiences as she walks or skates into the real world is men just looking at her. And she ends up saying it too later on. Like, she suddenly feels so aware of everyone looking at her. And that, her saying that hurt. Because I mean, I think everyone growing up, or women growing up, there's a point in your life where you realize that you're not a little girl anymore and that guys or men see you differently. I guess middle school and beginning of high school, I wore a lot of baggy clothes. Basically, kind of similar to Billie Eilish, but less baggy. I would just wear a hoodie and jeans, and that's it. But junior year and senior year is when I started feeling more confident in my body, and I would wear biker shorts and baggy t-shirts still, but like biker shorts. And there was this time where I went to a Circle K near me, and as I walked down, I was wearing shorts, and
Artlist.io.
guys were like talking towards each other, like compliment, like kind of not. They weren't catcalling because I was still around my dad, I guess, which sucks because I know if I wasn't alone, I probably would have done shit. But my sister and I noticed it, and they were just like, I guess, talking amongst themselves about how they liked how my ass looked, I guess. And it was weird because like at the time I was 17, 16, and I had felt awkward because I just wanted to get like a munchie, and that was the first reaction. And I had mentioned it to one of my guy friends I was talking to at the time because we were texting already, and I had told him, and he's like, well, how short were shorts? And I was like, that's what you got from that? But I was like, I'm wearing biker shorts that go to like the mid-thigh. Either way, those guys were like
Artlist.io.
probably either early 20s or mid 30s. Some of them look around that age. And it was weird. But I was also noticing how at one point Ken kind of started getting praised because I mean he's wearing bright colors. I mean he was still obviously being made fun of because he's wearing bright colors and he's a man. He should be wearing more manly things. So they were kind of like giggling and being snarky towards him, like making fun of him. But sometimes there would be times where he's like, they're like, it looks like guys are like I guess praising him because he's wearing something that's like outlandish, and Barbie's getting nasty looks.
Artlist.io.
Either some girls are making fun of her, or men are making fun of her, or just being sexualized. At one point, a random guy just slaps her ass, and she punches him, and she gets arrested. Why? I don't get that part of her getting arrested. Well, her can get arrested, but why is she getting arrested when she's basically self-defense because a guy sexually assaulted her? But then again, I could probably misinterpreted the Ken situation, but I don't think so, I did. Or, I mean, I watched it Saturday and it's Monday, so I don't remember the scene very well, but I honestly took that scene that way. There's a part where she's trying to figure out where the little girl is that she's supposedly looking for, and that's when we get that scene where she sees an older lady, and she's like, "You're beautiful," and the lady's like, basically like, "Bitch, I know. You don't have to tell me twice." But I later found out that it's actually the daughter of the creator of Barbie. Her name was Barbara. But yeah, that's the daughter of, well, basically the inspiration for Barbie. That was her. So Barbie talked to Barbie. But she finds out who it is, and she looks for her at the middle school, I think, if I'm thinking correctly. I think it was a middle school. And the little girl's name is Sasha. And there's a whole theory that it might be the Bratz. That'd be really cool if it ended up being the Bratz. But besides the point, I don't know. At first impressions, I didn't like her, because the entire point is her just saying how bad Barbie was, and how it just ended up being how Barbie stood for everything that's wrong with women and caused everything to be wrong with women.
Music licensing reimagined.
At first it pissed me off because it was annoying, because I'm like, don't. It's such like a negative way of saying Barbie. But then when I thought about it secondly, I think it's just like an immature way, which I mean understandable because she's in middle school, but it's just an immature viewpoint of seeing of girlhood or womanhood.
Artlist.io.
A good way to explain this, I guess, is like, maybe not me. I mean, maybe not others, but for me, I grew up with a bunch of men and grew up a tomboy and had a bunch of guy friends, which I'll mention later on again. But
music licensing
I grew up in that
reimagined.
situation, and to many, I guess it was seen as like if I embraced more femininity, I was like, I wasn't being me, you know? I'm sure there's a bunch of girls too, like, grew up a tomboy and they didn't want to embrace that part because they felt like it was too girly, and they clowned on being too girly to, like, you know, which I look back at it and I feel like this, what, like, that little, like, pick me, I'm always friends with the guys, I can't believe you're wearing makeup, that's nasty. That type of, I feel like a lot of tomboys go through that little
music licensing reimagined
stage, or at least tomboys who, I know there's some who didn't, but like I was one of those tomboys who did have that little pick me era, and I look back and I hate myself for it. But I think it's perfectly normal for some girls to have that, like, internalized misogyny. And I feel like that's partially what it was. Because, I mean,
Artlist.io.
although it's slightly true about how Barbie kind of set an unexpected... No, not unexpected. What's the word? Unrealistic standards body-wise.
Artlist.io.
But I don't think they necessarily meant it maliciously at first. But it's like Barbie. The idea of Barbie is evolving. Like, they're trying to move with the times, which is kind of hard considering most ideas
music licensing reimagined.
that a lot of, even now, a lot of women don't like the idea of what Barbie can be sometimes. And it's kind of hard to evolve when people don't choose not to change their minds about certain things. Me embracing, like, I guess the feminine side of me, I'm still trying to get through that now, because I barely started junior year. I started wearing makeup and everything because I thought not everyone needed makeup, or like I don't want to be one of those girls who looks completely different without makeup, which, I mean, no hate towards those people. It was just my idea. Because now I'm like, honestly, if you look different in how you do, catfish the men.
Music
I really
licensing
just want to wear the natural,
reimagined.
like, less. Because even then, now I just I need to cover my eye bags. So I just do that, and then eyeliner and mascara. But I get that not a lot of people like that. Because me, I don't like having a lot of makeup on me, because also my skin sucks. So there's that. But I know growing up I saw my sister wearing more makeup,
Artlist.io.
and I kind of made fun of her for it because I thought it was too girly. I'm not that girly. But now I'm like, can I use some of your makeup? it's just, I guess, evolving.
Music
I think a lot of
licensing
people, like a lot of
reimagined.
tomboys or girls at a young age go through that part where they're like, they basically have a lot of internalized misogyny, and even sometimes when your parents try to take that out of you, it's still gonna be there. To some girls, at least. Because at one point, Sasha was like, the only reason why men
Artlist
and women
IO.
get along is because of women. Their hatred for women. Women hate women, and even men hate women, so we get along at that point. Like, I get there's some girls who love shaming on other women, but I don't really like doing that. Even then, when I had a lot of issues with other girls trying to be with like guys that were
Artlist
friends with me,
IO.
I had a lot of experiences where girls would hate on me because I was friends with the guys, and those guys were their crushes. So a lot of girls hated on me. I thought I was just trying to get with them, which I wasn't. Talk about that trauma later. But
Music licensing
point.
reimagined.
I never understood that. I always thought like, why can't we all just get along? I feel like a lot of girls have that point in their life where it's like you feel hopeless. Or maybe not a lot of girls, but I feel like some girls have that point where like it feels hopeless. Like, what's the point of doing things if men are just gonna take it away or just
Artlist IO.
do whatever they want either way? So they just end up hating on girls who are like very confident with themselves. Like, there's so many people who are so obsessed trying not to be the norm that they hate on people for being the norm.
Music licensing
I feel like that
reimagined.
downplays a lot of moms and housewives and just in general, because there's a lot of people who are just how do you say it? The traditional lifestyle, because I know a lot of people hate on traditional woman lifestyle, but some people just want to do that, and that's why they grew up, and you can't hate on them for wanting to do that. It's not saying they don't have any other dreams. It's just maybe their dream is being a mother
Artlist
and caring
IO.
for children, and that's not backwards thinking. It's just that's how they see themselves enjoying life. It's not them being lazy, basically. It's just them doing what they love, the same way that you doing a job is not you not being not caring
Music
for your family. It's
licensing
just you doing what you
reimagined.
love. So I wish they kind of touched on that in the movie, but it's hard to put so much about womanhood in one movie when it's a lot of different points. Now we're gonna go for the one of my favorite characters, and there is Gloria, which is the mom of Sasha.
Artlist IO.
And it ends up turning out that she's the actual little girl that Barbie's looking for. And I guess Gloria, the mom, she plays with Barbies to, like, I guess let out frustrations or just to, like, relieve stress, which I kind of
Artlist
admire.
IO.
Like, she's not out of touch with her inner child, because I think seeing her point of view shows what I was scared of when I was younger, or I'm still slightly kind of scared of that I'm trying to, I guess, overcome,
Music licensing
is the
reimagined.
inevitability of the lifestyle of being a woman and working. And because it shows that she's like, although she has her dream job, she's still not that respected. She's doing something that she cares for, but she's still not at the same respect level as her male counterpart that's there. I guess it's kind of, especially in
Artlist IO.
especially in social media or like media in general, like you see a bunch of streamers or YouTubers are just seen as like entertainment, like body wise, and then when guys
Music
are kind of
licensing
simp for
reimagined.
those girls, the men get mad at the women because they're making men simp. Like, why is it their issue? But why is it such an issue for women just sitting there looking pretty and getting money from it, when it's the men who's giving her the money and men getting mad at because she's getting money from men? If that makes sense. I liked how she, I guess, still kept the Barbie dolls even after all these years, because I still have Monster High dolls that I have, and I still sometimes get dolls that I like. Like, I am making eye contact with an incredible doll that I have, Violet. Also, I have a Serena Von Blue doll around here somewhere. But yeah, you can see all of my plushies, and then I have more plushies. Like, there's those ones. I have more right there. I love my plushies.
Artlist
Mainly my
IO.
Build-A-Bears. I always joke with my sister and my mom saying that me buying Build-A-Bears is just healing my inner child. I'm trying to get those new Monster High dolls. One day I will. But I like thinking of me buying stuff that not that I couldn't get when I was younger,
Artlist
but like just buying stuff that excites me. It's kind of a way of healing my inner child, but also like responsibly, of course, not just spending it dumb. Also, her speech about womanhood made me and my mom cry.
Music licensing
my sister tear up.
reimagined.
But yeah, it hits so hard, especially since she's like the voice. A lot of people, when I told this to my sister, my mom, they made fun of me and really thought it was me being dramatic. But my favorite, or a character that I looked up to a lot, was Astrid from How to Train Your Dragon, because I love How to Train Your Dragon. And I love that it's just like the voice actor of Astrid is giving this whole speech about womanhood. If you guys get what I mean. It's like, well, it's like for a lot of people, Barbie was their big inspiration growing up, and now they're having a whole movie about how being a woman, although it sucks,
Music
it has its
licensing
tough
reimagined.
things, it's still such a nice and beautiful experience to experience. Now we're gonna go into the Ken representation, or what a lot of people are kind of thinking that Ken represents is that, like, that supportive guy friend that you grew up with, or like a bunch of guy friends that you had,
Artlist IO.
and all of a sudden they just change because of sometimes society, but also just like the way that they grew up kind of sculpts their mindset. I firsthand experienced this, because like I said, I had a lot of
Music licensing
guy friends growing
reimagined.
up, and I grew up with a bunch of men, so not in a weird way, it's just I grew up really close to my feels, and me and my sister kind of grew up, well, my sister and I grew up as tomboys, but my mom was also a tomboy, so that encouraged it a little bit more. But I can say firsthand experience, most of my guy friends I grew up with, or like I knew, I no longer am friends with after middle school or after like high school and everything. From me in 6th grade sitting with my guy friends and them joking, "I want your cherry pie," I didn't like
Artlist IO.
that comment, and all of a sudden they were like, "Well, it's just a joke, it's just a joke." I'm like, that's still kind of a weird comment to make towards me. Another experience I had is just, I don't want to be rude. It's like
Music licensing reimagined.
the weird kid a chance, and he was weird. and you get trauma from it. There was this kid who, I guess, a lot of people thought he was weird because he liked creepypastas, he listened to a certain type of music, and he kept to himself and everything.
Artlist.io.
I like the same music he listens to. I wasn't that I couldn't get into creepypastas because my mom didn't let me. She would make sure I wouldn't look at that stuff because of all the Slenderman killings, but besides the point. I think that time it was winter and it was cold, and he offered me his hoodie.
Music licensing
So I wore it.
reimagined.
And then we went to science class. I was wearing it, and I put my head down because we were watching a video. And when I put my head down, he put his head on top of mine. So this gist of it was like, I guess, like me putting my head down like this, and then he would put it on top. Like, I guess like a cuddling thing. And I was like audibly uncomfortable, and I would move my head a little bit.
Artlist.io.
I didn't like it, and I was obviously uncomfortable, and at one point he asked to go to the restroom, and I asked my guy friends who were in a different table, like, hey guys, can you help me because I feel really uncomfortable, and they were laughing at me and didn't do anything.
Music
And they thought it was
licensing
funny.
reimagined.
I guess later that week, or like a couple days later, he confessed his feelings for me, and I saw it coming, and I hated it because I was like, I don't know how to let this guy down without hurting his feelings. And lo and behold, I hurt his feelings. But this is where it gets really dark. So, I guess trigger warning, self-harm.
Artlist.io.
But we sat down to our seats, and he started scraping his arm with a pencil that he had, and he was like, he wasn't participating in class. He was really angry,
Artlist.io.
and he started cutting himself basically, or hurting himself. And my teacher saw that and sent him to the nurses and the principals. And my teacher was out, and I think she was trying to talk to him first, like,
Music
what's going on.
licensing reimagined.
People who knew, because they were in line as we were waiting and saw it happen, me rejecting him. And what did my guy friend say? Why don't you just give him a pity, yeah, I like you too. I'm like, but I don't want to hurt his feelings later on. I don't want to give him this false sense of hope. And I was the bad guy because I said no to him. I was the bad guy because I said no. So what? And then I had this experience in 8th grade. Like in 8th grade, you're like 13, 14. And I had a super senior have a crush on me. And he tried texting me. He's like, oh, I think you're really cute and everything. And then I'm like, cool.
Music licensing
And I didn't know
reimagined.
him. I just knew him because he was friends with some other guys I knew. And he was texting me, and next thing you know it, he's like, well, I'm 19. I'm like, well, I'm 14. That's a little bit of a age gap there. And he's like, okay, Anne. And he would come up to me in my locker, my guy friends obviously around me, and they found it funny.
Artlist.io.
And at one point they did try pushing me towards him, and it was not fun. But one of my guy friends did kind of like get in the middle between me and him, which I do as happy and thankful I am with him for doing that. I know I'm friends with him because he still was a piece of shit. So seeing Ken go from like that, like innocent, like happy, like just following Barbie, to like him literally being the reason why Barbie was hurt and why everything got turned to shit. It sucks because it's like, yeah, you grew up with you grew up caring for these guys or
Artlist.io.
boys, and then you turn into men who are just shitty people. So it's it's so frustrating because in the end, it's Barbie who consoles Ken. Like, why is the one who was hurt consoling the person who hurt them?
Artlist.io.
You know? But it's a reality for most of us. I guess a little thing I wish they kind of included was like a part where Barbie gets like passionate or starts yelling, and then like the Ken's downplaying that emotion that she's having. If that makes
Music
sense.
licensing
Because I'm
reimagined.
not sure if you guys had that experience with a guy or a person in general. I mean, this can be like with anyone in general too, but a moment where you're like either very visibly upset, like sad, angry, for like a reasonable reason, and for that person to be like, I'm the one who's trying to have a normal conversation and you're the one who's yelling at me.
Artlist.io.
Because I've had many of those. Because I'm like yelling, like, why did you feel the need to make me feel like this? And why did you do this to me? And they're like, I'm not going to have a conversation with someone who's being irrational right now. And it's like, so why is it that did
Music
things turn?
licensing
I
reimagined.
thought that would have been a good thing to show. But I guess didn't want to step on too many toes. I did find it funny how fast it took for the Barbies to take back Barbie Land. Just by, like, how fast it went from the Kens having war against each other just because they challenge each other's masculinity.
Artlist.io.
And I thought that was a really funny and smart idea. Now, it is time for the reason why many people were crying at the Barbie movie.
Music licensing
This is the part where
reimagined.
this Barbie is realizing that she doesn't want to be stereotypical Barbie anymore. She wants to actually experience life. So it's like her realizing, like, I mentioned it before earlier, that how if a woman's not doing something really cool, like a woman in STEM or a woman who is like a model or actress or something,
Artlist.io.
she's just seen as like not as important as the other ones. If she's not extraordinary, then what is she? If women aren't doing something extraordinary, then they're not doing anything at all. So she just feels like she's
Artlist.io.
nothing. And I like seeing the ending because I feel like it's just like Barbie kind of representing like the little girls growing up. Maybe this is a bit of a stretch. It's like as you're growing up, your mom is like, well,
Music licensing
maybe not exactly your
reimagined.
mom, but like that woman figure showing you exactly what it meant to be a woman. Good or not, it's such an experience. Like with the good and the bad, everyone needs to have that part. So it's like her growing up. It's like realizing that the world is against you and not everything's going to be pushed
Artlist.io.
towards you, and you might have to work 10 times as hard as the men or other people. And although it's scary, it's the part of growing up. Not everything's going to be fair, but if you work or you do as much as you
Music licensing
if you're
reimagined.
passionate enough about it and you push through all that fear, you'll succeed. Barbie's saying she just wants to create something and put something out into the world. It explains how I want to do my life, like what I want to do with my life. I want to put out such like a message out there and be able to help those that are having issues. I want
Artlist.io.
to be that person to like represent normal life, I guess. I want to be like the YouTuber of the people, like showing my scuffed setup right now is just a unicorn stand
Music
and
licensing
a Mickey Mouse
reimagined.
head selfie light thing that is just me trying to make videos on what I can do. For the longest time, my mouse pad was just a napkin folded. And I still don't have a good mouse pad, but it's something. Everyone starts somewhere. Also, Billie Eilish's song does not help.
Artlist.io.
It's so emotional, and then her voice is so beautiful. I've been crying to Billie Eilish since 2017-18, and she will still make me cry and bawl and go into a fetal position on the floor.
Artlist.io.
Different. To put it into words, the movie, I loved it. Me and my mom keep telling other people, like, if this movie is good to watch if you're with your little girl and as a woman growing up watching either Barbie or just
Music
in general playing with
licensing
dolls.
reimagined.
And as much as it bugs me to see all the, like, I guess misogyny or misogynist and stupid arguments about the movie and how it's a bad movie, like Billie Eilish says in her song, it's not what he's made for. This movie isn't made for the men. It isn't made for boys or anything. Although,
Artlist.io.
if you see it that way and you resonate with it, of course it's gonna be for you. But it's not meant for men. This is for the girls. This is for the girlies and the besties and everything. The thing I hope that every woman gets from this movie is that women should just be supporting
Music
women.
licensing
Everyone should be supporting each
reimagined.
other. This video did take me a little bit to film. And again, I have a lot of issues with following through with things because I feel like it's not good enough. But this is me trying to get out of that. And I hope everyone watching this can see that it's
Artlist.io.
I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do as a channel too. I mean, I might watch the Ninja Turtle movie, and that's gonna be a whole outfit thing. My brother wants to participate with me too, so I'm gonna wear Leo, although Mikey is my favorite character, I have more blue.
Music licensing
That's why
reimagined.
I am the blue character. I wear more blue and green stuff, so my brother's gonna dress up as Mikey, and I'm gonna dress up as Leo. And this time I might help him out trying to dress up. So look out for that video if I make it. You never know. I want to, but I'm not sure if I will.
Artlist.io.
So the end of the video. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, whenever I can stream. And sorry I didn't post a video last week. If you want to hear more ramble videos about things, expect me
Artlist.io.
to talk about the Ninja Turtle movie and maybe just other stuff. So that is that, and bye.